Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and today we are going to begin our year-end review for 2025 with mostly the things including the expansions that were released this year with Into the Emerald Dream, The Lost of Angoro, and Across the Timeways. We're going to go over, starting today, what I think the best cards, the most broken cards are from this year, as well as tomorrow we'll take a look at the worst cards. We'll also go over the most impactful cards that will be leaving early next year, maybe some core set wishes and some other year in review stuff. And if there's any topics you'd like me to throw in there during this holiday season, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, as it would be really nice during the holidays. Anyways, let's take a look at what the most broken cards were released in 2025. These expansions weren't great, but there were some really insane cards. To take a look at what the most broken card is per class in the neutrals, and starting off with Death Knight, I think it's pretty safe to say that the best package throughout the entirety release of the year. By the way, we're going to exclude StarCraft because would it just be all StarCraft stuff that was released in this year and will be rotating next year, but let's just ignore that. Is the Leech package from Into the Emerald Dream, in particular Hideous Husk. When this was released, your leeches stole 2 more health from their victims. I remember in theory crafting going on like a 17 game win streak and then taking this to like regular ladder and also dominating. It was insane. Plenty of play just to the World Championships recently. Good card on ladder, and even saw Sanguine Infestation nerfed as well. But the Leech package, absolutely the main standout for the year. And I'll just, I guess, mention, of course, like just Morbid Swarm, really solid card. But yeah, for me, the Leech card sucked a little too hard. For Demon Hunter, it's got to be Ravenous Fell Hunter, the 5-mana 5/3 demon with Death Rattle. Resurrect a friendly Death Rattle minion that costs 4 or less. Summon a copy of it. This got Ball Hog nerfed pretty quickly. We also saw nerfs to Arcanite Defense Crystal going to 5. A big part of that was this card, and it is still an absolute menace on ladder with the whole blob of tar thing going on. I would be shocked if this lasted another year without being changed, but to me, by far the most impactful and busted Demon Hunter card of the year. I will give an honorable mention though. Roxagar, this is an insanely good card, the Fabled card, where this is a 2-mana 12/12 charge. He gets shuffled into, or well, actually just, he disappears. He goes away, and then you gotta shuffle all these portals. Regardless of whether you get to the Argus, getting the card draw, getting the lifesteal weapon, he's basically an auto-include in most decks in Standard and Wild already. So definitely a big shout out to Broxagar. For Druid, there's 2 cards that really stand out, and the best one by far, Amir Driscoll. This launched at 4 mana, where you summon a 1-cost minion, you gain 1 armor, you draw a card, you refresh a mana crystal, and it improves each use. So each number goes up to 2, then 3. Ridiculous card. The mulligan win rate on this thing was insane at 4. Still really good at 5, and to me, by far the best Druid card released all year. Honorable mention though, I have to say, is Elo the Living Legend. This launched at 7, basically broke the game out the gate, let you cheat out Ceaseless really early and Giants, and was just absurd, but got nerfed pretty quickly. But to me, even with that, I think Amir probably on average the better card at 4 mana. Although Imbue Hunter did do some pretty silly things earlier this year, Ranger General Sylvanas by far to me is the most broken hunter card. She has spawned arguably the best deck in Standard, World Championship winning deck as well in Discover Hunter. Not that that wasn't a deck before, but it got put super over the top by it. She's a Fabled card where she deals 2 damage to all enemies. If you've played Illyria or Verisa, you repeat for each. So Verisa will buff minions in your deck. For Illyria will allow you to discover some spells. So basically, you can deal 6 damage with this, and you know a card is busted when Youthful Brewmaster becomes meta, because you want to keep bouncing her, because not only does she control the board, she also goes face, and if we saw in the Tavern Brawl, having Shadow Step and things like that makes her absolutely insane, and to me, by far the best hunter card of the year. For Mage, I actually really struggled. Like, I looked through all 3 expansions. There's not one really amazing Mage card. There just isn't. Mage is going to be in a weird spot next year where I guess I give it to the Forbidden Sequence. I really don't know. You guys can comment down below, like what the best, maybe the Imbue stuff, but only really good in Wild, where, yeah, the Forbidden Sequence got buffed to 7 cards rather than 8, and you get the weapon, and after you discover a card, this plays the other options, you lose durability. Like, Quest Mage got me to Legend a couple times. It's like a valid deck, but I just looked through the expansions. The cards suck. Like, the average, like, best mage card is just okay. Like, all the old stuff where you have to look at StarCraft, right? Before that, it was like other stuff. It just, none of this year's stuff in Mage has really taken off. So I'll give it to Forbidden Sequence. Like, you could say maybe some of the Arcane stuff, or the Scuffle card, right? 0 mana, deal 3. This card is like, all right, but there just isn't a lot for Mage. So I guess I'll go with the quest. Paladin, on the other hand, got quite a few good cards. This Murloc quest drove some people pretty crazy. Ursol at one point was absolutely nutty with Shallow Drizzle, which we'll talk about later. But for me, the best card of for Paladin is between two. First being Ursine Maul, the 4 mana 4/2 weapon. After your hero attacks, draw your highest cost card. Being able to tutor specific things, super strong, can fit into like whatever archetype you want. Really darn good. I think a lot of people will probably pick this card, but for me, I'm gonna go, even though Aegis of Light got nerfed, I still don't think it was like super OP, is Dragon Scale Armaments is such a cracked card. 1 mana holy spell, draw a spell that started in your deck and one that didn't. So at bare minimum, you're tutoring a spell for 1 mana. And if not that, you're getting 2 cards. Maybe it gets you an Imbue portal or whatever. Just an insanely strong card, and really helped Imbue Paladin, Drunk Paladin, Holy Wrath Paladin, Wild, like just really solid. And yeah, it's between that and the weapon, but I'm going to go with 1 mana draw 2 because that typically is really strong in Hearthstone. Priest also didn't get a ton of amazing stuff throughout the year. Wilted Shadow is one of the cards that they did get that got nerfed, that is still meta to this day, but not exactly very prominent, where it went from a 6/7 to a 7/7. This minion has lifesteal whenever you heal an enemy this attacks it, so it like enabled an OTK deck, which was pretty darn good. But a card that was absolutely insane at launch and did get nerfed as well is Resuscitate, the 6 mana shadow spell. You resurrect a 1, 2, and 3 cost minion and then give them Reborn. Super good with the Wilted Shadow deck, as well as Protoss Priesthood, just like almost any priest in general, where getting a 1, 2, 3 with Reborn, really good, especially when they have like death rattles and other effects. Super strong card, still sees play at 6, and to me, no doubt the best card released throughout the year for priests. Looking through the rogue set, I think they might have had the best set of cards for class outside of maybe warrior and warlock, where Deja Vu, you can make an argument, absolutely awesome card as it stands right now. Nightmare Fuel is another card that's popped up in a lot of decks. The Crystal Tusk, which is supposed to be like Quest Rogue support, went into Cycle Rogue, one of the better decks in all of Standard for like ever. Cultist Map, incredible card, sees tons of play in Wild and Standard, drawing 2 cards for 2 or with prep, 0 mana. Yet Harbinger of the Blighted, which is absolutely insane at 2 mana when it launched. You coined it, Shadow Step, played it, Shadow Stepped it, full boarded 2 drops, GG, I win the game. Corona is a great fable that's seeing plenty of play in both Standard and Wild. The Ever-Burning Phoenix is pretty ridiculous in Cycle Rogue, getting nerfed to not being able to replay it every turn, still sees play in that World Championship winning deck. And Shaman pops up a lot, sees a ton of play, even after the Sandbox Scoundrel nerf, but despite all of that, those aren't the best cards for Rogue, or the best card. To me, the best Rogue card, again, at the World Championship lineup, and believe it or not, this launched at 1 mana, Twisted Web Weaver. Whenever you play another minion you've already played, draw a card, basically a 1 mana auctioneer, where I've seen rogues draw their entire deck with this card at 1 mana on turn 3 and 4. Like, it's a possibility. Absolutely ridiculous, still ridiculous at 2 mana. Again, World Championship winning card. And yeah, rogue players, they seem to complain the most, but they also seem to get the best cards all the time. And that's not even including Step and Prep, which they've had, well, I guess for 12 years starting next year. Shaman, to me, there's 2 standout cards. One of them we revealed on the channel, which was really awesome, which is Murdered the High King, that 5 mana 3/2. Draw that High King's Hammer. You get the stats, you get the Wind Fury, and you have the avatar form where you can buff something, do AoE. really solid, really cool card. But the card to me that is the best for overall throughout the year for Shaman has been a Flight of the Firehawk, the 3-mana fire spell. You draw 2 minions of different minion types. You give them +2/+2. So it's Arcane Intellect, but it tutors specific minion types. And it gives them a buff, which is insane with cards like Growthin, Bumbling Bellhop, as we all know, can go into whatever deck. As long as you're playing tribal minions, it's super solid and just, yeah, pretty much auto-include in almost any standard deck since it's been released. Just a really, really darn good card. Murden's great, but honestly, he's not as amazing as a card like this can be. For me and Warlock, there's 2 options, and I'm not going to go with Escape the Underfell, which launched like this. You played 6 temporary cards. You got the Underfell Rift, which was 5 mana. You could summon these Fell Beasts and a Life Seal, Charge, Taunt. It sucked when it launched. They buffed this to 5 temporary cards, buffed the Rift to 3, became incredibly broken, and then they reverted it. But a card that's just always been busted and has been nerfed is Cursed Catacombs. By far the best Warlock card. This will go into like every Warlock deck ever as it is, and it used to discover another minion from your deck, make it temporary. Now it's discover another card from your deck, make it temporary. This made Dorian Warlock an absolute menace before. Now it's just an insanely good card that's 0 mana draw, and in Wild the discard synergies can be really good. Absolutely phenomenal card. And I would argue that this was the best card released all year. Just how freaking strong it can be. Warrior also got a ton of great stuff. Dark Rider, which got buffed from a 1/1 to a 2/1. Quite good now. Dragon Warrior, Into the Lost City. Quest Warrior's been a thing basically since it's launched. It's never been super top tier, but it's always competitive. Did really well at Worlds. Getting that time warp can be really strong, but this last set gave so many good tools like Unleash the Crocolis or even For Glory, which Theo rated a 1-star. Drawing 2 cards costs 1 less for each minion your opponent controls. But honestly, I'm gonna give my pick to a dragon legendary that's just really good in like every deck it's in. The Great Dracorix, 8 mana, 5/12 beast dragon with rush. After this attacks an enemy minion, it damages all other enemy minions. Just super solid cards. He's playing control decks and more aggressive decks, mid-range. We see it all over the place. It's really solid. I don't feel like any warrior card was outright busted. We did see, of course, the Tortola, but that was more like being busted with like Chemical Spill, and then at least later the card itself to me was the most busted. I don't think any warrior card was truly busted. They just got a lot of really good stuff. So yeah, I'll go with Great Dracorix, but I for sure can understand why people would want to pick some other warrior cards. And lastly, I don't know, am I more impressed by all the insane neutral cards we got throughout the year? Like there have been so many, but let's go through some of the highlights before we go with my pick for what the best neutral card has been. Blob of Tar has been a standout all year. Super annoying, especially when it keeps coming back over and over. Really solid card. Ancient of Yore, which launched with gaining 5 armor, being dormant for two turns, and you would draw a card for each turn. Super solid. Was it a ton of decks? Still sees play today at 3, just not as auto-include. Of course, we have to mention the dragons and all of that. Not as much as Sarah, which has just been really solid in a ton of decks, but a card that got nerfed, double tapped indeed, with Fyrakk that started at 9 mana, cast 20 mana worth of fire spells. This is still seeing play to this day, but not nearly as much as it was. I don't think it was the best, but probably second best. And as I mentioned, Shaladrissel earlier with Ursel was insane. At 7 mana, you could like corrupt this and replay it over and over, but just good in like a ton of decks. It was super solid, got bumped up to 8, still sees play. Mostly to proc Elise, and we're still not done with dragon style stuff. Narrow Axe, right? This just made all your dragons cost 1, so really insane with like Zarimi and other just gross dragon decks in general. And again, even though it only cheats 1 dragon, still sees play to this day. That's how silly it was. And I'll even mention Creature to Madness, which is in a ton of decks to this day, just really great at filling that curve. Also a great reason why Going First is so good in Hearthstone right now. And yet again, another dark gift card that's incredible. Nightmare Lord Xavius, 4 mana, 4/4 Battle Cry. Discover a minion from your deck, give it a dark gift. You get a tutor, something out of your deck. That's always great. Plus, it might get a bonus like Charge or Lifesteal, whatever. Really good card, auto include in a ton of decks right now, but it is not quite my pick for the best card because my vote goes to the card that is dominating the meta game right now, Elise the Navigator. 4 mana, 3/5 Battlecry. If your deck start with 10 cards of different costs, you craft a custom location. You can make a 1 mana, a 5 mana, a 10 mana. You can get an AoE on your Death Rattle. You can summon Rush, get armor, get a spell, get a copy of a minion. This is in over 60% of decks, nearly 70% right now, and has been a mainstay in pretty much over half of decks since it launched. The only thing that held it back was like Quest Warlock didn't want to play it, and that deck was super popular for quite some time, so you didn't see a lot of Elise, or you saw less of Elise then. It was still insane, whereas Fire Rack, a lot of decks play the Dragon package with it, but I think Elise overall is the better of the two cards, but it really comes down to those two for neutrals. Again, if we're ignoring StarCraft, because clearly Grunty would have taken number one if we included StarCraft in the equation. Anyways, let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with in the comments down below, and tune in tomorrow. We'll talk about what I think the worst of the worst cards are. And no, they're not Grunty because StarCraft's excluded, and I might include Grunty in that one too. You never know. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.